First up, you know her as the voice of Powder, Mia Sinclair Jenness. The voice of Silco, Jason Spisak. And last but certainly not least, the voice of Heimerdinger, Mick Wingert. Give it up one more time for the three.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming out.
Woo! Ooh, hey guys, welcome to Animeverse. Welcome to Houston. Thank you so much for being here.
Our pleasure.
So happy to be here.
I'm very excited.
Guys, let's talk about Arcane. The second season was just released. It's absolutely fantastic. What has been the best part so far about the show?
About season 2.
That I was in it almost.
Yeah.
I think for me, the reception online and in person from the fans for season 2 has been the best part for me. It's so exciting. You guys are awesome. So thank you all. Yeah, give it up for yourselves. That's right. You guys are awesome fans. Everybody has been connecting with the show. They've been connecting with the storyline, the arcs, the characters. Like everywhere that we have gone, and every fan interaction I've had online has been just a story after story of people connecting with these characters, being moved by the story, and it's been incredible.
Yeah, I echo everything you just said. The fan response has been absolutely incredible. I mean, season 1 was also absurd. I don't think we ever could have predicted how huge it was going to get and how receptive and relatable it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think we all just collectively feel so lucky that the response has been what it was and that you guys can relate to a degree.
And she echoed your statement. I like what she did there.
Thanks.
I see with the echo. Very
Yeah.
nicely done.
Hey, thanks.
Yes.
Jason Spisak, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, give it up for him, guys.
They did. Okay. Yeah, I think one of the most amazing things about Arcane is its story is full of shades of gray. You can't point at any one of the characters and just go, oh, they are wholly good, or oh, they are wholly bad. And it's not easy for us to watch this story and just come down on one side or the other. And I think that makes for magnetism. People just love stories that are as complicated as real life, because real life isn't so black and white. It's not so easy to point at someone and go, I hate everything they've done. It's not. You know, our friends, our family, our loved ones, everybody sometimes makes a decision that they regret, and sometimes does something heroic and awesome. And I think that's why people connect to it so much, because it's like
100%.
That's real. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's what I loved about it. The writing, I guess.
Jason, to piggyback off that, do you guys have any memorable moments with fans here at the convention, whether at the table or during a photo, or just a story that they've shared with you that really impacts just them and the story of Arcane?
Yeah.
I mean, I love meeting people and I love going to cons, and I think the thing that I get told, you know, the most is that they can relate to Powder, they can relate to Jinx, just through her mental illness. And I think one of the things that I love most about the show is the honesty of the portrayal of bipolar and depression and the other mental illnesses which we see in Arcane. It doesn't glorify it like other shows do. And I think the honesty there is something that people really gravitate toward. And when people come up and tell me that, you know, my portrayal was, you know, so accurate, I say, well, that's because I struggle with those things too. And I think that's the thing that resonates with me the most when people come up and say that, because I think what I love so much about Ella's portrayal in specific is, like you said, it's black and white. It's not black and white. There's no right or wrong answer to if Jinx is good or bad, and that's how it can feel when you have mental illness. Sometimes you're really, really confused, and sometimes you don't know what you are. And I love that the show doesn't glorify it, but it's honest.
Yeah, I think when fans, yeah, I think that's beautiful. Give her a round of applause. I think that when fans come up to the table and you can tell that they're invested in the characters, and it's not just cosplay that they spent time on and concentration and creativity, but that they come and immediately start talking about the story. They immediately start saying, you know, I really admired the way that Silco's character changed over time, and his relationship with Jinx is complicated and nuanced, and the way that he treats her, and it is the biggest compliment as an actor and as, you know, the writers of the show and the artists, for that when a fan comes up and they seem to have experienced it in a way that they're going to talk to you about the story as if it really happened in front of them. That means we've created something quite beautiful. And so to me, the best thing about Animeverse Fest or any con is the compliment that we get, that we have impacted your life so much that you want to come up and talk to us about it.
100%.
It is a huge compliment, and it's incredibly humbling. So thank you.
Thank you.
Truly.
You know, I think on that note, I think my answer to that question would be, so many of you have already come up to my table. Thank you, and thank you for coming and seeing me, and for cosplaying Heimerdinger. I see you.
Woo! Yeah.
But so many of you have come up and said how much Spin the Wheel has meant to you in very troubling times, and in a time in which there's a lot of uncertainty. And I was already kind of humbled to have been included on that soundtrack and to have gotten the chance to sing a song in this incredible show and be on the,
He does such a good job singing that, doesn't he? Stop.
Absolutely incredible.
The
Truly.
soundtrack is incredible.
Mick, Wingert.
Thank you. All right, so I'm already humbled to be able to do that, but to then have so many of you come up and just tell me how during tough times you'll put that song on and it gives you a little spark of hope, or it helps you get through, is one of the most powerful things that could happen for a voice actor like me, right? Like, we go in the booth and we just do the thing that's set before us, and we try to do our best job creating these characters and having truth in the moment and all of those things. And we don't know what's going to happen to it. We don't know what the producers and the animators and everybody else is going to do with our performance.
We don't know if anyone is ever going to see it.
We don't know if anyone's going to ever see it. Exactly.
Or what the connection will be, if they will react to it deeply or not.
Right.
I mean, we're just alone in the booth. So, yeah.
Talking to ourselves in
thank
a
you.
box.
I think it definitely shows here that people are very deeply connected to the show, guys. So thank you for everything that you do. You're
you.
wonderful in the show. All of your performances is fantastic. So the world of League of Legends, of course, started as just a game. Of course, when you're playing the game, there's some lore, but is there anyone that has seen the show but has not played the game?
Oh my God.
Right?
A lot of you.
Right?
Yeah.
Majority. Yeah, exactly.
I see you.
That's the thing I love so much
Yeah.
about it, is that the show stands alone. You don't have to necessarily be a fan of the game in order to love the series.
Yes.
And I think that's so awesome.
Yeah, and it is a testament to Christian and Alex, the creators of Arcane, their ability to see it through the lens of not just gamers, not just people who worked for Riot and worked on the game. I mean, Christian worked on the help desk tech support line at Riot when he started out, but they saw it as storytellers and as fans of the game and the stories that went into and behind those characters, and they just stayed true to what they wanted that to be.
Yes.
And it's a credit to them that they simply wanted to tell a beautiful story.
That was it. That was all that mattered.
Yeah.
You could feel it when you were in the room with them.
100%.
Like the creators of Arcane, Christian and Alex, that were up there
They are
winning the
just-
Emmy. You could feel how much they wanted the audience to stay in this world, to not think about League, to not think about, but to stay right here in this world and feel it.
It's very, very immersive.
Yeah.
Mick and I were talking in the green room yesterday. Just, again, your performances are just fantastic in the show, but even just like through the animator's eyes, just seeing Heimerdinger, just little teeny tiny micro expressions, either just like of a lift of an eyebrow, or just like a little too long of a glare, or just little like, are we really gonna do that today? Are we
Right.
really feeling that? Or Silco just, maybe just like a zoom in or zoom out on his eye, not eye rather, but just little micro expressions, or even of course from Powder, just the sadness, when she has her betrayals, so many betrayals. It is so immersive, and every single element of this show, between the animators, between you guys, I'm sure between casting directors, it absolutely shows. It's radiating in this room. I can definitely feel it from you guys on the couch, so thank you so much for that. It is extremely immersive and successful, and it shows.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's funny that there's so much of each one of our characters that exists without any of us three doing anything.
Yeah.
Like how much of Silco is him in silence? I'm not using my voice at all.
Yeah.
And it's the artists at Fortiche Studio in France taking those moments to just let the character breathe. And, I can't take any credit for that. I'm not speaking in those moments. So much of the creation of these characters is their artistry.
Right. We're
And the
acting.
subtleties within that.
For sure, we're acting with in like tag team.
Yeah.
It's like we are doing a dual performance with the animators, and the animators are making these characters come to life, as Jason said, in the silence, and and the expressiveness of how they relate to each other and to the world that they've been put in. It's incredible.
Something so interesting that I don't know if a lot of people know, and I don't know if this is a unique experience to me or what, but when I was recording Powder, I was 10 and 11 years old. And Powder's face mold is, the majority of it, I believe, is based off of me. So, I was in the booth recording, and they were recording me on a camera, and then drawing me in the booth,
Wow.
and then sending that over. So,
Kind of surreal.
Yeah, they would set up little HD cameras and watch our performance.
and yeah.
They did that for me because they didn't finish the character model of Silco completely until after I was cast.
Yep.
So the reason why Silco looks a little bit like me and Powder looks a little like you is because they took elements of our performance and our face and actually brought them to life in the characters.
And that's why Heimerdinger looks just like me.
Exactly, Mick. Exactly. And I've
Just
always
like
said that.
Just right there. Little
There he
Heimerdinger.
is.
Yeah, there he is. Hey.
He's cute.
Love it.
Guys, before we bring it to all of our lovely fans, how do you relate most to your characters? What do you love most about your character? Of course, you as human beings are very versatile. Your characters are very versatile. How do you relate most to them? Please share.
I think for me, I'm kind of a professor in real life, not because I'm an academic by any stretch of the imagination, but because I am a teacher and a coach for voice acting, and I do love to see students come through my doors and go on to be successful and do things, and I feel like in some ways I really identify with Heimer because Heimer loves to see genius come to life in each of the people that he mentors. You see that obviously with Jace, that's like the mentorship we walk in on. We see that a little bit with Victor, and we certainly see that with Echo, but we even get to see it. For those, spoiler alert for anybody who has not seen season 2.
Raise your hand if you haven't seen season 2.
All right, sorry.
Plug your ears.
It's okay. You see that even with a little bit with adult Powder. He begins to build that relationship with her as well. And I love that. I absolutely identify with that side of that character.
For me, I definitely connect with a complete sociopath who sells drugs.
Okay.
Nice.
I don't know.
No.
What the hell is
No,
she?
no, 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 no. No, I'm a
Did we tell
father.
you that we're recording this panel?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Crap! I am a father, I have 2 daughters, and there is nothing that will prepare you for how much your life will change when a daughter comes into your life. So the line when Silco says, "Is there anything so endearing as a daughter?" is magical to me. The Silco's arc that goes from this selfish man who will stop at nothing, including murder, and there's no lengths he will not go to, you know, because we had a dream, Vanda. There's no lengths he won't go to the very end of the story where he's sitting under the statue of Vander and realizes Vander's right, that it does matter if you have something to lose. For the first time in his life, he has something to lose. And so as a father, I connect to that meaning. That, you know, as a young man, I definitely saw the world in one way, and as a father of 2 girls, there's nothing I wouldn't do for them. You know, I never would have given you to them, not for anything. Don't cry, you're perfect. It just resonates so closely to the way I feel about my own kids. So, yeah.
Thank you, Jason.
That's me.
Aww. Mia, how about you and Powder?
I kind of already touched on this briefly, but I struggle with my own mental illnesses, and I am very candid about it because I think it's important. So that's one thing that I definitely relate to. But what I specifically love about Powder is that her family is everything, whether that be her chosen family, you know, Vander and Milo and Clagger, or her blood family, which is Vi. Those are the most important people to her ever. And that's something that I relate to very deeply. My friends, who are my chosen family, and my biological family, my mom and my brother, you know, the rest of my family, I would do absolutely anything for them, even if I don't always go about it the right way. I'm not killing anyone and blowing shit up, but
Yet.
yeah, you know what? Yeah.
There's always hope.
There's always hope. We always have the rest of the con. I'm kidding.
Mia Sinclair Jenness is gonna paint the town blue. What do you think of that? Yeah!
Well, yes. Thanks. But yeah, I mean, like, I would do absolutely anything for my family. I think that's what I relate to the closest. And also, again, with bipolar and BPD, that's something that I know very well and very closely, and it can be really, really, really hard. But that's another reason why I rely so closely on the people that I love, because they know me. They know me for who I am.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Amazing. Thank you for being so candid and for inspiring people to just take care of their mental health and be so candid about it themselves. So thank you, Mia. Appreciate
Absolutely.
you.
Yeah.
We need to have these discussions.
Yes, absolutely.
We need to destigmatize and normalize the way our brains function.
Absolutely.
We just do.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's okay.
Yeah. And to Mia's point, at the end of the day, behind it, there's a lot of love behind it, whether it's for those around you or your family or your friends. But more importantly, make sure that you are loving yourself in the process of that. So
Absolutely.
you can do that too.
I mean, for years I didn't talk about it. For years I was like, there's something wrong with me, I'm not gonna work. You know, people are gonna think that I'm insane. And then I realized that there is nothing wrong with me, it is just the way my brain works.
That's right.
It is just the way my brain works, and that's okay. That's completely
Absolutely.
fine, you just have to find
Don't
ways.
cry, you're perfect. But it's true. I mean, learning to accept yourself sometimes is difficult. And if you have a message coming from outside you that says, you know, don't accept who you are, you're liable to take that on. But if you have a message coming from outside you of, it's okay, who you are is acceptable, it's all right. I have some things in my brain that are quirky and they work this way, and you have some things that way, and we're all right, we're all working towards our best selves. Then that message is something you take on board. So if you have someone in your life that needs to hear that, tell them. And then hopefully someone will say that to you.
Absolutely. And I'm also here to say that the journey to healthiness starts with self-acceptance.
Absolutely.
Whether that is your whether that is your neurodivergence, whether that is your mental health, whether that is your membership in an LGBTQ community, whether that is your membership in an ethnicity or nationality that is a minority. It begins, your journey to healthiness begins with self-acceptance. I'm here to tell you that from personal experience. And that is where it all happens, guys. It's where it all happens.
Thank you, Mick. Thank
Yeah.
you, Jason. Thank you, Anna.
Seriously, we love you guys
We love
for
you.
being you.
Thank you for being you.
They're not just voice actors, they're therapists today. You are welcome for the free session.
Yeah,
That'll be
seriously.
$375 from
Yeah,
each of
hope
you.
you'll
Happy
have
hour.
insurance. Jesus.
So
And we'll see you
have
next
their
week and see
respective
you have
tables.
been working on it.
Silko will write you a prescription for Shimmer.
Wait a minute.
All right, guys, we do have time for about 10 fan questions. I know that's not a lot of people. If we run out of time, please see them at their booths. Don't be shy. They're happy to answer your questions and give you autographs and selfies and all that. But slowly but surely, head to this microphone right here. Let's get 10 wonderful fans. Our lovely assistant, Erica, will be happy to assist you at the mic. Make sure that you speak right into the mic, nice and as loud as you can. I think Miss Jinx is going to be our last question in the very back, okay? So our Jinx is going to be the last question.
That doesn't narrow it down.
Oh, the last Jinx, the very last one.
There are
There we go.
73 jinxes in this audience.
That sounds about right. Hello, friend.
Hi.
Hello.
So, what line do you think contributes to the character development the most?
What line from each of our characters do we feel contributes to character development the most?
Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's such a hard question. Because there are so many great lines. The writers love us and they love our characters and they've given us so many good things. Let me try to answer this quickly, I guess. For Heimer, I think the line that impacts me the most when I watch Heimer, the way they've animated him, when I watch him say it, is when he looks at Echo at the end of season 2, episode 7, and he says, "Having met you, lad, I've truly lived." Because that's from a 300-year-old character who's lived a long time. And I think that's such a definitive line for him.
I've already touched on a few of them, but I think for development of Silko, for him to go from who he was to who he becomes just before the end of season 1, I would say, and I'll answer this two ways because there is an alternative universe. So, the first way in season 1, I would say, when he's sitting under Vander's statue and he says, "Is there anything so undoing as a daughter?" And we know that he has changed. We know that at that point he realizes that he's a different man than he was before. And then of course in the AU, the line he has about forgiveness, one of the greatest things is the power to forgive. Because in that alternative timeline, that is what changed him. So yeah.
I think for Powder, I only wanted to help was probably the most formative line because that is all she wanted to do. And, had she not blown up her whole family by accident, she wouldn't have become Jinx, or maybe she would have. I mean, we see a glimpse of one alternate universe, but there are a million alternate universes. We don't know what would have happened. But I think that line and that whole sequence in season 1, episode 3, definitely contributed to her character development in more ways than one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Thank you, good question.
Great question, thank you.
Thank you. Hello, friend.
Hello.
I'm wondering, what's y'all's favorite League of Legends character that you didn't play?
Favorite
Annie.
Legends character?
Oh, favorite lead character that we didn't play.
Vlad. Although technically I did play him in Legends of Runeterra. But
Whatever.
you meant in animation, so.
I'm a fan of Fiddlesticks. I think Kellen Goff does an incredible job. of playing Fiddlesticks. He's such a dry boneyard of a character that I just love. I love listening to his lines.
Annie.
Ooh, nice. That's a good one.
That's all.
That's all.
Good question. Thank you.
Thank you for that
so
question.
much.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. If you guys were able to choose one song from the soundtrack, which one would be you guys' favorite?
Oh man.
Oh my god. That's a really hard question. I think, okay.
I'm right here. I'm kidding.
Oh my god, okay, well, other than spin the wheel, that is a
No,
given.
that's a given.
But can I just say, I told you this a million times, but you did such a phenomenal job
Oh, thanks.
on that. Like, truly. Really, really, really phenomenal.
Okay, now that I'm done begging for compliments,
Yeah, oh
tell
my
me what
god.
you actually like.
Spin the wheel, yes, but I also really love What Could Have Been with Sting and Ray Chen.
Yeah.
That string arrangement that Ray plays is phenomenal. And also Goodbye, which is at the end of season 1, episode 3, after what happens.
Amazing.
Whose song is that? Do you know?
I don't
It's time
remember.
to say goodbye. That one?
Yeah.
Anyway, those are two of the most incredible songs on the soundtrack. But I mean, every song is so individual and put together so well and fits so perfectly with the rest of the show. But those are definitely my two favorites.
It's very difficult to disconnect the emotional moment in the show from the song. Like if anybody's listened to the soundtrack, if you put the music on, all of a sudden your brain is like transported back
Yeah.
to seeing the images in the show. It's fantastic. And I mean, there's very few soundtracks that have done that for me in my life, but it does that. It has a way of just taking you back. So I have two. I really do love What Could Have Been because it's right after that moment,
Yes.
you know, and it just, from the moment that she shoots me to the moment that she picks up Fishbones and like that whole launch, it's just so emotional and powerful. I love that song. And I also am a huge fan of Playground. Because
Playground's
it's like,
great.
it's like the nation of songs, right? It's like it's my city, it's my nation, and it just describes the feeling of the whole place. And I don't know, I just love that song.
I love having sung Spin the Wheel. That's in a category on its own. It's like top
agree.
tier for me.
Why?
Because I got to sing it, and I am a fan of folk music. But I want to answer your question with other songs that resonated for me, and I'm a sucker for Sucker.
Oh my god.
That is my middle finger to every cult leader in my life.
Yeah.
Like, get the hell out of my head. Get gone, sucker. And then Ashes and Blood.
Oh
How
my
do you
God.
argue with Wood Kid on Ashes and Blood?
Word.
Come on.
Good song.
Can I
Oh,
be a
and
little
fantastic. And fantastic. So good.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
I'm just gonna say, can I be a little basic and just call out the theme title?
Crazy.
Yes, you
Oh my
can.
God. I can't just tell you the like emotion, like and the hype, oddly enough, like when it comes on and you just hear, look out for yourself, and you're like, oh my god, this is about to be very real.
Do you
Very
remember,
real.
Do you remember the season 1 premiere? And we were all sitting in that giant dome.
Yeah.
And we were able to watch the first 3 episodes of the series all together as a cast for the first time. And I remember when I heard that come on, it was like the most incredible experience because we were all in a room together, and I think that was when we knew. The second we heard that theme song in that giant, auditorium we were in, through every speaker, unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
I can't hear that song and not think of this show.
Well,
no
yes.
There's no way.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
I see all the white maquettes, the marble statues spinning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the band even in the show.
Clearly you asked a really good
So
question, so thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
Nicely done.
Good question.
Hi, how are you?
Hey.
So when you're recording lines, you're often pretty isolated.
Come a little closer to the mic. Sorry.
There you go.
Hi.
Hi.
When you guys are recording, you're often very isolated in your booths or you're very young. Were there scenes in in season 1 or 2 that you felt overcritical of while you were recording them? So like, just can't get this right or can't get this voice right. Were there any scenes that sort of did that the most for you in season 1 or 2?
Were there scenes that we felt overcritical of
Overcritical.
because we were alone?
Because you're just in your own head.
I mean,
your own
You're
head.
applying
We
to
have
what
like
everyone
our team with us. We have, you know, Christian and Alex and our engineers and whoever else was in the booth.
Yeah.
But I think that's a really interesting question because I think voiceover work can be, you can get overcritical very fast because you are in a booth by yourself, and yes, there's a director on Zoom to tell you what to do, or, you know, on the other side of the glass, but you are alone. And it's up to you to figure out what you want this performance to be for yourself. I think I got really lucky because I was young, and I was coming at it from a place of total authenticity. So I think I'm a very critical person when it comes to my work, regardless, especially, you know, as I've gotten older. But I think for Arcane, it was just total honesty and authenticity, and that kept me from getting too in my head because I was just being a kid.
What's interesting to me is I've worked on many different shows and projects and games. The tone that was set by the creators of Arcane was one of acceptance and one of playfulness and one of revision. So it wasn't a space that you tended to get into your head. Because Christian and Alex were always like, oh yeah, that's good, wait, let's try this. Okay, that sounds interesting, I'm not sure that's what you know what, let's try it this way, let's do that. So they weren't critical.
Yeah.
They weren't projecting that type of mental space. Quite the opposite. Theirs was one of playfulness and acceptance and wanting to see our best. And so there really wasn't many opportunities to kind of get into that headspace, really. Not for me. It was quite the opposite. And I think that comes from the top. It comes from their creativity was really, the creativity and excellence was the goal.
Absolutely.
And they didn't care how you got there. They really didn't care. How many times do you have to try it? Let's try it 8 different times. Maybe we'll pick number 6. And that's what was, I think, lovely about it. It was caring and comforting environment creatively.
Working on this show is like something that I would wish for every voice actor in our industry, that they would have the opportunity to work in that kind of an environment. And I think for me, it is easier for me to be a little more critical, even in a wonderful environment like this, because I am a voice director as well. And so when I voice direct, or when I voice act, it's hard to get out of that. So I think my most direct answer to your question is I was super critical of the scene where Heimer meets Echo again for the first time in the AU. And I was like, should that have been more? Should that have been more than what I gave? But everybody was happy with it, everybody liked where it went, and so that's where as an actor you have to trust, okay, it's out of my hands. It's that performance.
Did you do that a bunch of ways? Did they let you kind of give you free reign, or did you find that it was kind of like, oh, we really liked what you did, and that's why you second guess yourself because they didn't ask for it a lot?
Yeah, I think it was more that they didn't ask. Plus, we were recording that particular episode during COVID, so we were all recording from home.
Yeah, right.
Which I'm adept at doing, but it's different than going into the booth
Yeah,
and
it's very
having
different.
everybody there, and they're like, okay, let's try it again. And you know, I'm like making sure that my backup is rolling because you have to record at home and
make sure your levels are good.
my levels are set and all that stuff, and I've got the script in front of me here.
You're like in a closet.
Exactly. So it was easier to be more in my head about it. That's why.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's a really good point. Yeah.
It's a good question. Thank you.
Excellent question. Thank you.
Cheers.
Hello.
Howdy.
Y'all did a great job with the show.
Go right up to the mic, friend.
Oh, apologies.
You're
Keep
fine.
me.
There you go.
Radical. So y'all did a great job with voicing your characters and everything. And I have a specific question for you. Your voice acting near the end of episode 3 of the first season was amazing with the breakdown and everything. How did you do that?
Excellent question. I would like to know the answer as well.
So were they in fact beating you? I think that's what. Yes.
Well, yes.
Yes.
No. So
Haley Steinfeld show up and slap the crap out of them.
yeah, seriously. So that was actually on my 11th birthday. Yeah, I was asked this at the season 2 premiere, and I was like racking my brain, really trying to think about it, and then I realized it was either the day I turned 11 or like a couple of days after. I did turn 11 while I was recording Arcane, though. They like brought me a cake and like a balloon.
Oh, a
and,
little
like,
powder cake.
yeah, and then, you know, ripped my heart out. I think, as I've said before, I was a kid. And I care very deeply about my family. And Christian and Alex and everyone else in the room. Well, actually, I believe it was Christian who called my house, called my mom the night before I was supposed to record, and basically just like gave us a debrief of that it was going to be a hard day and, you know, to take care of myself. Because that's, you know, really hard. But he like called me and he was like, hey, it's Christian, just letting you know, like, I know you've, you know, read it, but I just wanted to give you a heads up, like tomorrow's gonna be hard and we're here for you if you need us. And that never happens, so that was really, made me feel really secure. But all I really had to do was take some time for myself and imagine what it would be like to live in a world in which I have ruined everything that I care about. And the rest came, I don't want to say naturally, because that's not a natural thing to think about, but it's what I had to do. Yeah, so I think it helped that I was given some time alone, just to kind of get into that really vulnerable place, which can be hard to do in front of a lot of people. But I did 2 takes, and they used the first one. And that was that.
Only 2 takes.
You guys.
Yeah, so I've told this story before, but that moment that I walk up to you and I say, you know, hello little girl, where's your sister? And in order to get into this moment, they played me your take.
Did they?
Because we recorded alone, so I had never really, I hadn't done any work with her at all. And I'm in the booth alone, and they're like, okay, Jason, the moment that happens right before you walk up to Powder and ask where her sister is, Mia's done that already, so we're gonna play that for you. And they played it for me over the...
Did they give you any?
They just said, we're gonna, so to set the mood, we're just gonna play it. And so then I hear you crying and doing that whole thing, and I literally, like, I started to cry. It was so beautiful and so wonderful. I literally, and so, I can't tell you how helpful it is to feel what's coming from another actor if you're an actor. And on Arcane, we got to work only really by ourselves.
Yeah.
So they did whatever they could to kind of help us along in that space. And to hear your performance, it made my performance so much easier because you had already gotten into this space and you brought me into the next space that we needed to be in. So thank you.
That means so much. Thank you. I didn't know that.
Wow. You guys, I'm sorry, Mia, but I'm also going to embarrass you. You are a once-in-a-generation talent. She's incredible, and I'm not joking. Watch her career. Just watch. You're going to be consistently blown away. For as long as she wants to do this. I'm not trying to make you be an actor for the rest of your life. Like whatever you want to do.
I want to be an actor for the rest of my life.
Whatever you want to do with your life is awesome. And if you change that desire, that's awesome too. But I want you to know you are gifted in powerful, powerful ways. Seriously. You're so incredible. You guys love Jinx because of what Mia did as Powder.
Oh my god!
I'm not even kidding.
True.
No shade on Ella, who's
Very
an
true.
incredible talent, who's an amazing actor, and who did incredible things with Jinx. But if we didn't have Powder's story, as played by Mia Sinclair Jenness,
Correct.
you wouldn't connect with Jinx the way that you do.
Yep, it's true.
Once in a generation, girl. And I work with a lot of actors.
You do not know how much that means to me coming from you. I admire you so greatly. We can talk later, but
Talk later.
I just think you are so incredible, and I don't have the words right now. So we'll talk later. But I love you. I love you. I love you. I'm so grateful to know you, and I'm so grateful to be able to watch you, and you as well. No, I'm serious. I'm serious. I mean, how lucky are we? Yeah, I'm sorry, but how lucky are we to have these two incredible talents with us in the world generally? You guys are just so
You're sweet. That's very nice of you to say.
unbelievable, really.
Very nice of you to say. Thank you. Great question.
Thank you. We're all gonna cry up here, but thank you.
I'm literally
Great
crying
question.
because.
Yeah.
Great question.
Hello.
Hey.
girl.
So my question is mainly for Heimer, but you all can answer it. It's actually Silas's question. I'm just here speaking for him.
Silas's emotional support powder.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
So question is, in season 1, how come Heimer didn't do anything to help Zahn until after he was kicked off the council? Because he's obviously very old and he's been around for a while. So yeah, but how come?
This is a great question. I love this question because here's the great thing about Heimer. Heimer is the sleeping villain of the series. What? What are you talking about? Everybody loves Heimer. That's what I mean. You guys think he's this adorable little yordle who's cute and whimsical and da-da-da-da. He comes in and sees his mentee in prison, and his first line is, "Prison, what an interesting conundrum." Like, Biscuit, I'm in jail. You're supposed to be my mentor, and you're pontificating on the philosophy of prison? Like, what are you doing? Right? He's like the sleeping. Why does he not do anything to help Zahn? Is it because he's truly evil? No. Heimerdinger is a positive little character, but why I say he's the sleeping villain of the series is he let Zahn get to the place Zahn got to. Why? Because he was focused on the City of Progress. Now, again, this is Mick Wingert's headcanon. This is my understanding of the character. This is my, taking what Amanda Overton, Alex Yee, Christian Link have written. I'm just reading from the text, right? But you can ask this question of one of the writers when you get a chance as well. Amanda's great for this kind of thing. But I will say my headcanon is from what I understand from the scripts I got. He was so focused on, can we do this, and how do we get Piltover to be this model city, that he turned a blind eye to Zahn, not maliciously.
I see what you did there. Blind eye. Nice.
Wah.
Terrible.
That
terrible.
blind eye was called Silco. No, he turned a blind eye and
So lame.
chose to be willfully blind. How do you know this? Go back to season 1 and watch the scene in the concert. Heimerdinger is happily enjoying the concert while Jace and Mel are doing all these backroom deals at the concert. Every single council member is involved in greasing the palms and taking the grift, and he's totally blind to it. You don't get that blind without practicing willful blindness.
I was going to ask, because he's so intelligent, but yet ignorant of that.
It's willful.
So it's the willful ignorance, yeah?
He chooses not to see it.
Right.
He chooses to keep it in the abstract.
Oh, there are probably very terrible things that are happening in the Undercity, but it can't be helped for progress, right?
Yeah.
We'll focus on the positive, which is why when he gets kicked off the council and he walks through the city, it's so eye-opening for him. That's the moment he wakes up. Heimerdinger got woke!
Period.
So that's my answer. Awesome question.
sure.
Good question. Thank you.
so much. We do have
Wait,
about-
Silas, let me see this guy. Look at this, look at this.
The trial. Wait, can you do it? Can you do the
Yeah.
thing?
He
Wait.
made that.
I may have been blind, but I'm so happy to be here with all of you. You're such
Wait,
brilliant
what?
pupils.
Cosplayer Silas made this by hand. Isn't this great work, guys? Give it a hand. Give him a hand. Let's sit him right here.
Yeah.
You sing with me, Professor.
Okay, I will.
We do have about 5 minutes, guys. We're gonna do a little bit of a lightning round, but go ahead, feel free to
All
your
right.
question.
Go for it.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
What's up?
My question is, what was the hardest scene for you guys to watch and or film?
Hardest scene to watch and or film, record. Yeah. Okay.
I'll go first. I was super nervous singing the song. I've sung before for preschoolers and stuff. You can
Oh my
hear me
God.
on Sophia the First singing, but this was a whole other level. I was so nervous, and I was sitting on pins and needles when we were at the finale viewing,
Really?
and I wasn't sure how the audience was going to receive it. So
Tears.
it was
Immediate
nerve-wracking,
tears.
and I'm so glad you guys loved it.
I love that.
Dial, do you go?
Oh my god, okay.
Most difficult.
Episode 3 of season 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, episode 3. I found the scene at the table at the end of season 1. You know, her name is Jinx. This passion in speech that he is fighting for Jinx's mind. He's fighting for her, basically her sanity, and can see it slipping. That to me, it's such a beautiful, but it's also, you're tied to a chair. I mean, part of the scene, I'm like, like, you know, it's a difficult thing. And the very end, the very last line, it has to be just very light, not too heavy-handedly delivering such a very, very important message. And to me that, you know, as an actor, sometimes we have a tendency to really want to play a moment so that it lands. And in that case, it had to be more about just letting the moment breathe and be, and to not get in the way.
Right,
And I think that can
right.
be difficult also.
Totally. Thank you.
Great question.
Thank you so much.
Hi.
So, what is your favorite line from your character?
Favorite line from the character? Did we already have that? I don't
Let's take a beat really quick. EV team, are we okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All good,
We're gonna
all
ignore
good.
that. Go ahead, Jason.
Oh, no, my favorite line, I'm gonna go with, don't cry, you're perfect. Yeah.
I have two favorite lines. Number one, when he drops the wrench, ball suckers. And I also,
Right?
God, is that you?
God? He's coming
It's
to
me,
find us.
Margaret.
No, my other favorite line is when he's playing spy and he goes, the Brambleback has left the jungle.
Nice.
My favorite is probably, one of my favorites is, that's a nose hair trimmer.
Yes.
Nice.
All right, I love y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Jinx.
Okay, my question is, do you think that you've taken a part of your character's personality and made it your own, or a habit or saying from your character that you use in your everyday life?
Do we have a habit from our character that we use in our everyday life, or is there part of our character that we've made our own? Yeah, I get eye injections all the time. I'm like,
Oh, hell yeah.
No.
I feel like I've taken a lot of Powder's curiosity. I see, I don't know what, okay, look, I don't know what that is.
It sounds like an anime character who is kibitzing on our panel.
Gibbons. So anyway,
It's getting more aggressive.
It is getting more aggressive.
We think we've angered the
It has to
anime
be
gods.
against trolling. It has to be.
so awesome. Anyway, I definitely think I've taken a lot of Powder's curiosity with me. Because that is, at her core, what she is. She's curious, and she's whimsical, and she's fun. But she's also great. She's badass. And I've tried to take that. Oh my god. Sorry. She's really badass, and she's determined. So I've tried to take a lot of that with me. I don't know if it is obvious, but I
Sure
tried.
it is.
Hey, thanks.
Right on.
I tried.
I would say if one of Heimer's, I wish I could say I was playing the banjo, but I can't play a musical instrument to save my life. So what I think I've taken from him is learning how to accept what is and to see the things in my world the way that he did. in his arc, in his character arc. Exactly. Somebody thought that was very funny.
Is that an evil laugh competition?
But yeah, I would say that would be a characteristic I'd like to say that I took from Heimerdinger, is that like I learned to relax and accept the life that I have and enjoy it.
I think
That's beautiful.
for me, I'm gonna go with something from season 2, from the alternative universe, and I think just a reminder that there is great power in forgiveness, right? To harbor ill will towards anyone, to just let it go.
Totally.
Well said.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for that question.
Thank you guys.
Mia said that there was 2 amazing people in this panel, but there's 3 amazing people in this panel, and I would like to say thank
so
you
much.
because of how
Because it's you too.
amazingly
Oh, stop.
That's right.
Yeah!
That's right.
Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Apologies for the voice of, I don't know what deity that was. I think it was a demon, but here we are. Anyway, guys, give yourselves a round of applause.
Good
You
work.
guys
Thank
are
you.
absolutely amazing. And give it up one more time for Mia, for Jason, and for Mick, the cast of Arcane.